What's going on, guys? In this one we're going to be making the most popular recipe on the channel so far, which is the creamy garlic mushroom sauce, and we're also going to combine it with some cheese and some chicken to create this creamy garlic mushroom sauce and cheese stuffed chicken breast. Please sit back, relax and enjoy. Alright guys, to start the prep for this dish, here is 5 cloves of freshly peeled garlic, to which we're going to run along a fine microplane or grater to create a paste, and once that's done, make sure to scrape out every last bit of it, as we do not want to be wasting any of this good stuff. Grab yourself 200 grams or 7 ounces of Swiss brown mushrooms, and yes, there's more than this, but my little plan to bang these out didn't work as half of them got stuck in the container. With these, slice them into ½ centimeter slices, and for this recipe you can also use button mushrooms and portobello mushrooms. Next, with 4 sprigs of thyme, give this a fine chop, and if you have thick stem thyme, you will need to pick off the leaves as we don't want to be eating wood, and this can also be substituted for ½ a teaspoon or 1 gram of dried thyme if you can't get hold of fresh. Let's then whip out our bush of flat leaf parsley, which weighs 10 grams or 0.4 ounces, and simply give it a rough chop. Half of this is going to be used in our sauce and half of it's going to be used for our mushrooms, so I do recommend splitting it up once it's been portioned out, and also for this you can substitute it for 1 teaspoon or 1 gram of dried parsley. Now here is a small tub of bocconcini cheese, and for this recipe we need 3 balls of it, and this can also be substituted for mozzarella cheese. I also recommend using a spoon to remove it, as our grubby fingers will transfer bacteria to the brine, and all we need to do with this is slice these into thin strips just like so. Alright, so now let's get out our 2 large chicken breasts, and using a sharp knife create a slit through the side of the breast to create a pocket, but make sure you don't slice all the way through. Also, I didn't realise what I was doing until I looked back at this footage, so please get your head out of the gutter. Once that's done, transfer the chicken to a mixing bowl and add in ½ a teaspoon or 3 grams of garlic salt, ½ a teaspoon or 2 grams of onion powder, 1 teaspoon or 10 cracks of black pepper, and 1 teaspoon or 5 milliliters of olive oil. Get your hands in there and rub the seasoning into the chicken, making sure you get in all of the cracks and crevices, and once that's done, we can then pop this aside for the time being. Now to get the cooking started, place a pan onto your stovetop over a medium-high heat and add in 3 tablespoons or 42 grams of clarified butter and give it a quick mix around, allowing the butter to melt. Once melted, add in 2 cloves of the minced garlic, stirring it around and saute for 30 seconds, then add in the sliced mushrooms, scraping them all in there to avoid any wastage, 1 teaspoon or 5 grams of sea salt flakes, and 1 teaspoon or 10 cracks of black pepper. Mix the seasoning into the mushrooms and saute for 4 minutes to release the mushroom's internal moisture. After 4 minutes and the mushrooms have started to release their moisture, add in the chopped thyme and half of the roughly chopped flat leaf parsley, mixing it through until evenly distributed, and continue sauteing for a further 3 minutes to allow the mushrooms to obtain a nice golden colour and for those flavours to become friends, and then once that's done, this can then be removed from the stovetop. Now with our seasoned chicken breasts, add in 3 or 4 slices of the bocconcini cheese, making sure that it's not all sitting on top of one another, which will make it easier to melt. Then add in a few spoonfuls of the sauteed mushroom mix, again spreading it out, and also we don't want to add in all of our mushroom mix here, as we are going to be using it for our sauce. Once that's done, grate over some Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, and the amount is completely up to you, and this will not only make this extra cheesy, it will also create a nice little crust which will seal in the filling. When that's done, poke through 3 or 4 toothpicks or small skewers from one side to the other through the slit, and this will hold the chicken in place, ensuring that it doesn't fall apart. Also, depending on the size of your chicken, you may need to use a few more, but as long as it's sealed up, it's all good to go. Now to cook these, place a large pan onto your stovetop over a high heat, and once really hot, pour in 1 tablespoon or 20 milliliters of olive oil and add in the stuffed chicken breasts, placing them away from you to avoid any oil splashing back, and sear these for 3 minutes or until lightly golden brown. 3 minutes later, flip the chicken over and repeat the same 3-minute process, then transfer these to a preheated oven set to 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and bake for 14 to 15 minutes or until golden and juicy. In the meantime, place the leftover mushrooms back onto the stovetop over a medium heat, add in another 2 tablespoons or 28 grams of clarified butter along with the remaining 3 cloves of minced garlic to freshen this up, allow the butter to melt and saute the garlic for 30 seconds, mixing it around the entire time to avoid it burning. Add in 250 milliliters or 1 cup of heavy thickened cream to create the sauce, which is rather popular on this channel, and of course we can't forget the 1 teaspoon or 10 cracks of black pepper. Once that's all in, give the creamy sauce a good mix, then allow it to come to a simmer. Once simmering, season the sauce to your taste and add in the remaining parsley which we kept to one side earlier. Mix this all through and allow the sauce to simmer away for 7 minutes, which will reduce and thicken and allow those flavours to become friends. Now whilst the chicken's cooking and the sauce is simmering, let's make a quick salad. You most likely don't need a recipe for this, but I'm just going to thinly slice up some cucumber, but you can do this whichever way you want to. With a few cherry tomatoes, I'm just going to roughly chop them or slice them in half or in quarters, whichever way you want to do this. Then also with half a red onion, again I'm just slicing it nice and thin. To assemble this, add some lettuce to a bowl, add in the cucumber, cherry tomatoes and the red onion. Then we're going to drizzle in some honey mustard dressing, which I'll leave a link for in the description below. Hit this up with some cracked black pepper for a nice little pop in flavour. Give this a good mix around, ensuring everything's well coated, then pop this aside for a minute or so, or until we're ready to serve. Going back to the sauce that's been simmering for 7 minutes and is nice and thick and reduced, this can then be taken off the heat and placed onto another burner for the time being. After 14 minutes in the oven, our stuffed chicken breasts can then be removed and placed onto a heat resistant surface, then remove them from the pan, placing them onto a plate to rest for 5 minutes. We can then add the pan juices into the sauce to add even more flavour, giving it one final big mix, ensuring everything's together, then remove this from the stovetop. Now with our stuffed chicken breasts, we obviously need to remove the toothpicks or skewers, as we definitely don't want to be biting down on those, and these can just be thrown out. Next, we can gently slice the chicken in half to reveal that beautiful and delicious cheesy mushroom centre, or you can leave it whole, it's completely up to you. To serve this up, place the chicken onto a plate or in a bowl, whichever way you choose to do so. Spoon over that delicious creamy garlic mushroom sauce, making sure to get it in the slit of the chicken to make this seriously incredible. Add on the salad we made just before, and this is also fantastic with mashed potato, rice or roasted vegetables. Then that leaves us with this right here, which looks and smells absolutely incredible. This then leaves us with one final and most important step, and that is we can then dig in. So there we have it. This recipe right here serves 2, and like most of my recipes, it can easily be doubled, tripled and so on. And as for storage and reheating, I'll leave all of the details in the description below, next to a list of ingredients for you too. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button, it really does help my channel out, and consider subscribing along with hitting that bell notification next to it so you never miss when I upload. Thanks for watching everyone, stay safe and enjoy.